So in the last class, we finished with the fact that bringing in expected price and actual price, that is the change. If I bring in that, then obviously Friedman was quite correct to say that in the long run, Phillips curve will be vertical. Now today our target is essentially to derive the long run Phillips curve from the short run Phillips curve. So our objective is to look at how short run Phillips curves basically generate the long run Phillips curve. And I must say that the method of drawing it is a bit non-standard. Okay, so let us start with first with a situation. So assume A equal to 0, that is our change in MPL, that is equal to 0. Okay, that is W dot equal to P dot for simplicity. It's not that considering it non-zero will change a lot of things. Okay, again, to have a numeric quantity, say U equal to UN equal to 3%. Okay. Why the reason of considering this is that in developed countries, generally the natural rate is considered between 3 to 4%. When it goes beyond that, then it's a cause of concern. Otherwise, it's fine. So if we have in an economy 3 or 3.5, let's say, then it's fine. I mean, that much of unemployment rate will be there. And what we are going to show is a very strong result. And the result is that if the government purposively tries to reduce this unemployment rate, then the result will have two things together. Number one, the government in the long run will actually fail to reduce it, because as you know that in the long run it will again reach 3%. That is the first point. The second point is even more dangerous. The second point is that as a result, only inflation rate will increase. Okay, only there will be higher inflation. So trying to reduce this natural rate is basically a mistake. That's what we are going to reach as a result. And then obviously we will learn then what to do. Okay. So let's start with that objective. So consider the government wishes to reduce the unemployment rate prevailing. The unemployment rate prevailing. So this can be anything for the time being. We can consider it natural rate easily. Anyway, so this is the natural rate, but let's start with this. So government wishes to reduce this unemployment rate. I will not mention right now that it's the natural rate. Okay. All right. So how to do that? RBI takes an expansionary monetary policy, which basically means that money supply increased. That's what it means. So hence AD rises, and excess demand pressure takes actual price level to, or not to, actual price level, not to, let's say beyond expected price level. Beyond expected price level. Let's say that is P naught E. Okay. And unemployment reduces. and unemployment reduces in the short run. In the short run. So we will examine what will happen in the long run. Now, I said that actual price level rises beyond, pressure takes actual price level beyond expected price level P naught E. That means we are already talking about a specific Phillips curve, a Phillips curve, a short run Phillips curve, which is drawn with respect to this expected price level. Okay. All right. So first of all, now we are going to draw that Phillips curve, and in the diagram we will try to see what is actually happening. Okay. All right. So here is our diagram. U and P dot. Okay, now the first Phillips curve that I will draw it in such a manner that in the right side there is a much space left. Okay. So this is suppose this is SRPC1, and obviously this point is the U equal to UN, and as we started the economy was at A at this point, and the government is actually trying to reduce it. Now I said that when I'm drawing an SRPC, I need to fix an expected price level. So that is needed, right? So the expected price level that we considered is basically P naught E. So that means that somehow, the expected price level or the price level that is expected at A is not typically zero. It's basically, if you look at this axis, it will be P naught E. Okay, so what I'm trying to say here is that unemployment rate along the x-axis at the origin, this point, if I write it, it is zero, but the corresponding expected price level, that I would say P naught E. Okay, but in general what we do is we write zero directly here. Anyway, so now an expansionary monetary policy is taken, so output will increase and the economy, unemployment rate will reduce and the actual price level will increase. Okay, so that means the economy will go in the upper direction, right? The economy will move in that direction. Okay, so let us continue. All right, let me mark even that. So diagrammatically, let's say the economy reached some point called B, where the unemployment rate is U1, okay, and obviously U1 is less than the natural rate, but all of this in the short run. And let's say the inflation that we are looking at, the price level change that we are looking at, that is occurring, let's say, at some level P1 or P1 not. Okay, so that is the kind of inflation rate that we are looking at corresponding to U1. Okay, now let's see what happens. So I'll write it here. The scenario can be explained. The scenario can be explained using imperfect information model. Imperfect information model. Okay. So what was the idea of imperfect information model? Basically, there is a problem of interpreting the information of price rise, right? So when price rises, you get confused between whether this rise is in general or it is specific to your product. And when you think that it is specific to your product, what you do is you start producing more instead of you know, keeping it same. So basically, in perfect information model, the confusion is around whether the price increase is actual, absolute, or the price increase is in relative term. Okay. So that's something that we get, the workers basically get, or the producers in this case, they get confused between. All right. So information model. So how do you write that? Although relative prices remain same, although relative prices remain same. So here relative price means PI by P. P is the price level. So relative price remains same. Producers interpret this as a specific price rise and increase production. Right? So as we saw that this rise in Y comes with a rise in P. It is natural because now we are moving along SRAS, right? Okay. So the economy moves from A to B. Along SRPC, given PE equal to P naught E. So given this expected price level, the economy moves along the SRPC. Okay, and that's fine. Okay. Now what happens in the long run? What do you say? Revision of price expectations occur, and in the upward direction. Why? Because there is a price rise, so the expected price revision will be in the upward direction, right? So these are things that we know already. So P equal to the P naught equal to P naught will occur at a higher price level, rather at a higher expected price level. Shifting the SRPC to point C. So I have not drawn C yet. Shifting the SRPC to C, point C, and U equal to UN in long run. So let me just clarify what I just said. in ADS discussion, we have seen all of that. Now we are saying the whole thing in terms of Phillips curve. So we started with an expected price, P naught E, and we know that given that expected price, there will be one short run Phillips curve. Okay. Try to run in your head the ADS model that you have studied. So now there is an expansionary monetary policy. So in the short run, output will increase, and why the output will increase, that explanation we are providing currently using imperfect information model. So output increased, unemployment reduced, and as unemployment reduced, we moved upward through this Phillips curve, and we reached an actual price level change. Okay, so let's say this is the inflation now. Now, in the long run, what will happen? The illusion will go away, and the workers or the producers here, sorry, the producers will equalize P naught equal to P naught with a higher expected price level, right? No, it will be actual price level, sorry, with a higher actual price level. So now the expectation will meet a higher actual price level because they are because their experience is that price level has increased. Okay, so that means what? That means now we will get a new SRPC because the expected price level has changed. Okay, so let's draw that. So this is SRPC2, and that's why I said that you leave some space on the right side. Okay, and let's say the corresponding expected price is P1E naught. For simplicity, what we are assuming is that this expected price will be equal to this. This expected price change will be equal to the inflation rate that they just observed. Okay, so where is point C? Point C is, okay, 1 minute. There is, that's why there is a rule that we have to follow. I just missed that. Okay, sorry, this will not be the shift. Okay, so while drawing the shift, you have to remember also the fact that U equal to UN, this is something that will be always in the long run. So the new expected price is this one, okay, P1E dot not equal to P1 naught, expected price level change, and this is the unemployment rate. Say the point C will be here. So this is my point C, and given this is point C, there will be a shift. So the new SRPC, okay, will go from this point. So this is C. SR, okay, let me write it here. SRPC 2 with respect to PE1. Sorry, P1 naught, sorry. I forgot this knots. So P naught. So that means we are going through. So first we go to A to B, then we go B to C. Now the non-standard nature that I was talking about is the fact that even when the curve shifted, you see, now the intercept is this point, right? Now the intercept is this point, but we have not designated this to be U equal to UN. Why? Because this is not U equal to UN. The U equal to UN point remains the same. What happens is, now instead of 0 comma P naught E, you have 0 comma P1 E, and that, okay, again there will be a dot, sorry, and it's as if this horizontal line has gone upward. Now the Phillips curve will be like this. Okay, all right. So just to clarify, again, expansionary monetary policy, increased output, lower employment. With the old expected price, the economy moved from A to B. There is a new inflation rate. In the long run, price level adjusted. So this new inflation rate becomes the expected rate. With that, I have U equal to UN in the long run. So connecting these two, we get C, and and by point C, I'm drawing the new SRPC, which is SRPC2, drawn with in an increase in the expected price level. Okay.
Sir, I had a doubt.
All right. So now we have we diagrammatically now we have the result. that we're looking for in the first case. And what was that? It is twofold, obviously. So the first one is that, okay, so the first one we know that SRPC is downward sloping. So here we have shown that in long run, okay, let me write a little bit here. Okay, in long run, there is no relation between inflation rate and unemployment rate. And we have seen that. So we have shown the fact using this functional structure. So in long run, what happens is expected price change equals the actual price change, which leads to phi of u equal to 0, which implies u equal to un. Okay. Now let us extend this diagram following the same method that we have been doing and get the long run Phillips curve. So what is the long run Phillips curve? How to get that? Okay, so now again, if I assume some expansionary monetary policy, then let's say it will move in this direction. Okay, and let's say it reached some D here. So there will be a corresponding some P2 naught, right? Okay, let me write it. So some P2 naught, which in the long run will again equal to some expected P2, and then with U equal to UN, we have some point F, and we from that or touching that will go the new Phillips curve. So SRPC3, which will be corresponding to P2E naught, and again the old exercise. So what does it give us? It tells us that essentially the long run Phillips curve will be this one, right? So this is my long run Phillips curve. And how do we explain the movement? The movement is like this: A to B, then B to C, then C to D, then again D to F, and then again in this direction. Okay. So just to write it in simple sentences. So what we can write it that repeating this process will yield vertical LRPC with equation U equal to UN, but with each shift pi will be equal to pi e at a much higher level. So it's P dot, that means pi, right? So pi equal to pi e at a much higher level. And this gives us the result by the, as we call it, acceleration IST, that is accelerationist. People who believed in this acceleration idea. What is that? It says, if government tries to reduce unemployment level, if government tries to reduce unemployment level in short run, there will be an ever increasing or here we'll write ever accelerating, because price change, then the change in price change is inflation change. So, you know, velocity acceleration. So price, change in price is inflation, and change in inflation is change in the change in price. So acceleration, that's why accelerating. So in short run, there will be an ever accelerating inflation rate. And the reason is very simple, because in long run, U equal to UN always. Okay. So what is the idea? The idea is very simple, that however you may try, you cannot hold a lower unemployment rate than the natural rate. So that is something that you cannot hold. Any unemployment rate below this UN, it will not hold. So that's why there is no point of reducing it, because every time you get to reduce it, as a result, here inflation rate is continuously increasing. Right? Higher and higher actual price level is being achieved. So that means in the long run, you are actually achieving nothing apart from inflation. Okay. So that's the policy prescription or the result of accelerationist. Okay. So in the next session, we will look at some of the general views. So first of all, we'll look at the policy relevance theory. Is the policy relevance theory in terms of Phillips curve. So from that we will start, and with that we will combine the K% rule, which is the monetary policy prescription of monetarist. Why monetarists actually said that? Although technically speaking, rational expectation, in its full force, it is considered that it came later than the monetary school. But anyways, they combine in the sense that, Ratex will say basically that the policy change must be unanticipated. Given that it is unanticipated, then what to do? How to match people's expectation? And then we will move into three kind of views. One of them we studied. So we'll study first the Keynesian view, how Keynesian view combines a negatively sloped SRPC and a vertical LRPC. Then we'll look at the whole theory under Ratex. So that will be our starting point. Ratex will say that even SRPC is vertical, and then we'll go into another extreme, the view of James Tobin, where Tobin will say that LRPC can even be negatively sloped. So basically you have these things, SRPC, LRPC, and you have choice of two slope. One is negative and one is vertical. Right? And thereby you have the debate. Ratex says that SRPC and LRPC both are vertical. Keynesian says SRPC is negatively sloped, but LRPC is vertical. And Tobin says that SRPC and LRPC both are negatively sloped. So look into that. We'll see how they explain these results. Okay. And look into the difference of opinion also. And then we'll do the famous result, that is deriving Phillips curve from the short-run aggregate supply curve.